Colorado State just released their 2026 Atlantic hurricane season forecast. Want to dive in, show you the numbers, and then, of course, tell you what it means for us here along the Gulf Coast. I'm meteorologist Jake Lambright. Let's go ahead and dive right in, starting with the numbers from Colorado State University. Again, you can see here, compared to average, we usually see an average of 14 named storms in the Atlantic each hurricane season. Their forecast, 13, so a little bit below average. Really, I think the better way to word it would be near normal. Now, average, we would see about 7 hurricane season. Colorado State this year forecasting 6 in the Atlantic Basin. 3 major hurricanes is average. They are forecasting 2. Now, when it comes to our INSO phase, right now, if we look at sea surface temperatures and where they are compared to average out in the Pacific Ocean, you'll notice in that black box more red than that kind of whitish turquoise color. That red indicates above average temperatures. And right now, we're seeing a very weak La Nina, but as we enter an El Nino, you'll notice more red within that box, indicating above average temperatures. And even beyond the tropics, El Nino can impact our weather patterns across the United States throughout the year. In fact, here's a look at how things could shape up as we get closer to winter time. You'll see certain years trade winds weaken, kind of pushing warmer water off the coast of South America. And this is what it looks like during the winter time for us in an El Nino pattern. Wet conditions generally along the Gulf Coast and for us in the Arklatex. But if you look out closer to the Mid-South, the Ohio Valley, they usually see drier conditions with warm conditions found from Washington State all the way through Iowa. When it comes to current sea surface temperatures, these are really important. You'll notice across parts of the Caribbean and even out into the Atlantic, temperatures right there in the upper 70s, low 80s, which is pretty close to being conducive for tropical development. But if you head out a little further to the east, you'll notice that orange shading. That shows temperatures in between 65 to 70 degrees at the surface of the sea. And then further to the north of that, temperatures are even cooler, ranging between 60 to 65 degrees. When it comes to looking at our tropical ingredients, what's needed for tropical cyclones to develop and thrive, sea surface temperatures are not the whole story, though. One of the big key drivers here with being in an El Nino is we see increased vertical wind shear out in the Atlantic. That means, A, it's a struggle for tropical cyclones to get going, and if they do, once they encounter that wind shear, it basically rips the storms apart. You can see here in this graphic for tropical ingredients, there toward the left of your screen here, one of the big things that we need are upper level winds blowing in roughly the same direction. That means we need low wind shear where the winds are changing directions as you go higher and higher in the atmosphere. Again, El Nino typically brings higher wind shear. So again, for us along the Gulf Coast, it looks like things could be a little quieter this hurricane season. We'll have to watch, though, for homegrown systems a little closer to the Gulf. Sometimes those can get going, especially during the neutral phase, which will kind of begin as we head into the start of hurricane season. Of course, we'll be watching things very closely. We can still see tropical cyclones develop even in an El Nino year. We'll be watching it very closely. It only takes one storm. We'll keep you posted throughout the hurricane season over on our website, ksla.com, on all of our social media platforms at KSLA News 12. You can also follow me at Jake Lambright on all platforms for the latest on your weather information.